So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. So today, Couchers, I have James from the band Black Magnet. They're an industrial metal band, and they're about to release their new album this Friday, July the 25th. So I got James. He's the vocalist and guitar player for the band. So first of all, James, how are you, man?
Doing good, doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. So
Good.
yes, you're on vacation, but thank you for taking some time to chat with me. So the new album is coming out this Friday.
Yep.
We'll show the artwork later on, but I listened to the album and it's got like there's it's that like that industrial noise. I saw that Revolver magazine named you in their magazine. So for people that don't know Black Magnet, give us a history of the band.
Yeah, so Black Magnet started in 2018. It started as a solo project. I'd been in like a ton of other bands in the past, and yeah, I got really interested in. I wasn't doing like a serious band at the time, and I started experimenting with drum machines and synthesizers and just recording on my own and audio engineering. And I'd always been like a big, always been in a lot of metal and hardcore and punk bands. And so, kind of when I started recording on my own, I started getting into more electronic music and just decided to kind of fuse the two. So I didn't really have anyone to play with at the time, and I kind of wanted to do it by myself to kind of be, I don't know, forge the identity of the band, I guess. And yeah, so I played probably like 20 or 30 solo shows on my own, just like as a solo project. Recorded a demo, and then uh, recorded two more albums by myself between 2018 and 2020, and kind of hired like different band members and old band members and kind of friends of friends to play and do a couple tours. But then towards the end of COVID, I started jamming with a consistent group of band members, and we kind of became a full band. And so I've recorded the first two albums by myself while like kind of jamming with them, and before them jamming with other people. And then on this last record, we had kind of worked on it together for 2 years and recorded it as like a four-piece band. So that's sort of the brief history of the band, I guess.
Yeah. How much would you say that having those people change the sound of the band?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it was really, really good. I mean, a lot of the reason I started doing it as a solo project to begin with was I I guess I didn't really know anyone who was interested in that kind of music, and it was just kind of really exciting for me to do it on my own. And I thought like, well, you know, if anyone else is to join this band, they can kind of come into it on the terms that I've established, with already knowing how it's going, already knowing like the identity of the band and like how I'm writing. And so yeah, I guess like it was important for me to establish it as a solo project, and then the band members who joined seemed like totally natural because they already like knew what they were signing up for, I guess. So once they joined, I don't know, they were able to just kind of like lend their creative and artistic hand in the way that it would serve the established project, if that makes sense. And but since then, it's really really helped. Like, the first like two albums and the demo were just me on my own, so I had no real like quality control. I wasn't really like thinking outside of myself or how someone else would create something. And so the other band members were really good at sort of understanding the identity of the band while also, saying, "Oh, this is good. This sucks. This is my idea," and that kind of a thing. So it became a definitely collaborative effort, and um, yeah, it was like a really kind of easy process because I feel like the right people came to me, I guess.
No, that's awesome. I hearing the record, I hear a lot of like industrial like influences. So for you, like when you were getting into this type of music? Any like what bands got you into this style?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd always like, of course, loved Nine Inch Nails since I was a kid. That was like growing up in the '90s. That's like a huge, huge part of just popular music in the '90s. But I quickly got into like Ministry, um, like even stuff like Fear Factory, Static X. Static X is on the radio, so I feel like in the '90s, even a lot of like the new metal stuff was sort of informed by industrial, I would say. So once I started learning about deeper industrial stuff like Skinny Puppy and Godflesh and that type of stuff, I started kind of hearing that in the popular music I was listening to already a little bit. So yeah, quickly found out about Godflesh in my teens. That was a huge band. Marilyn Manson, of course. But yeah, I really just kept digging into like the deeper levels of industrial metal. And yeah, Fear Factory is huge for me. Ministry is huge for me. But I was also really into just electronic music too. Like I'd always loved Aphex Twin. I'd always loved like Square Pusher, stuff like DJ Crush, and just kind of like the entry level electronic stuff. And always loved metal. So once I started understanding there was like a fusion of the two, um, it was like kind of the perfect find for me. Yeah.
So on this new record, now that you got more people in the band, uh, what like was it hard at the beginning to get their input because you've been so used to being doing things on your own?
Yeah. No, kind of like I said earlier, like because I started it on my own and didn't like, I don't know, create it as a group effort, the right people sort of found me, I guess. So I'd already been playing shows, whether it was solo or whether I had kind of like random friends fill in. And so the band was able to get established with the identity of how I intended it. And then kind of as people started approaching me being interested in the band or interested in playing or just like the band and other musicians I respected, and just kind of like the level at which I wanted the band to perform at, like a professional touring, practicing band. Once the right people kind of came into the picture, it was really easy because they already knew like what it, I guess what it took and what I was looking for. So really, it's only really helped improve the band with the current members I have, and I feel like I was also really lucky. Like it, a lot of the time you're not like when you're starting a band with a group of people, you don't know what you're going to get. Sometimes you might all have the same idea, but the personalities don't click. So I feel like starting as a solo project, I was kind of able to like like judge personality types and judge work ethic and judge creativity. And so, and not that many people were like approaching me, but when the right people came along, I knew they were right. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it really, there really hasn't been much like difficulty or hardships as far as creative stuff goes. It's just kind of organizing people and organizing tours and practice, scheduling. So, and the amount of gear, I would say like having to have like full drum set, 2 amps, bass, synthesizer, that's like kind of a lot of gear. So, that's probably the hardest part. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but obviously when you have that chemistry, a group of people, it's better for the music. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about the artwork of the album. Uh, and the album, I haven't seen the name of the new album, Mega Mantra. So
Yep.
here's the album artwork. I don't know why. I was thinking of like a sci-fi movie in particular, but I don't know why. So tell me a little bit about what you were going for with the artwork.
Yeah, so the art was done by Jesse Draxler, the visual artist Jesse Draxler, who is an incredible artist, and he did the artwork for our last album, Body Prophecy, which was like the kind of collage artwork. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm like still coming through.
Oh yes, I can.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. So the artwork was done by Jesse Draxler, and me and him just kind of became friends by collaborating on the last album artwork that we did together. And I feel like he already kind of knew the vibe of the band. Like he's become one of my closest friends through art and music. So I'm always sending him demos, always like sharing information back and forth. He sends me like art before he releases it, and we're just kind of like I don't know, like have a little creative friendship together. So I started sending him demos for the album, sent him the lyrics, sent him like kind of the ideas and identity behind this album, and this is kind of what he came up with. So you'd really have to kind of ask him,
Hmm.
but I feel like it totally represents it. You know, like our creative relationship almost like kind of transcends language, and so it's like he hears the music and responds with like a piece of art, and or like vice versa. Like he'll send me art, and I've always been really inspired by him, and I'll see one of his pieces and feel like writing a song that like sounds like what his stuff looks like. So I feel like we're kind of in this dance and conversation back and forth that we don't even almost have to talk about it. It just sort of like is a I don't know, like a metaphysical representation of what we're putting out there back and forth. So, but to me, I mean, the album's called Mega Mantra. His working title for this piece was Alpha, so it kind of has like, Alpha Omega vibes to it. It kind of looked like Akira a little bit, like the bomb going off in Neo Tokyo in the movie Akira. It almost had like a religious identity behind it, like the monolith is being worshipped. So that kind of leads to like mega mantra, like a little bit of a spiritual identity. And the album really centers around a lot of like metaphysical and spiritual subject matter. So yeah, it wasn't even really talked about; it just kind of fit.
Awesome. So, on that note, tell us a little bit about the themes that you're discovering on this record.
Yeah, yeah. So this album was really, really a trying to think how to explain it. I guess I was like I was really searching for I was I don't know, I was searching for ways to make my ideas become reality, like not just with the songs. Like it like obviously started like with the songs, but once you have like a spark of an idea, you kind of run with it, and you think to yourself like, how far can I push this idea? It started as an idea, and now it can become a song, or it can become a painting, or it can become a job or a work ethic or whatever. So the big identity and concept behind Mega Mantra was how how far can an idea go from it being a thought in your mind and come into the physical world, and how causative are our thoughts, and how much do we have control over that versus like how much does the world have control over us, and how much does our subconscious have over the thoughts that we have, which become our actions, and how much can we control our subconscious, and how much does our conscious thought day to day and our practices and our habits control our subconscious to control our bigger thoughts and our bigger results within our life. um, and this is something me and Jesse are like really, really into, and kind of have a discussion ongoing about, whether it's with music, art, physical activity, athletics, finances, anything. So the big identity behind Mega Mantra was kind of, I wanted to create each song to almost work as a mantra or like an affirmation of its own. So each song is sort of dealing with different, maybe different struggles and different ways to overcome those struggles I've had in my own life. And each song is kind of like I don't know, a reckoning or a dealing with a conversation with that struggle, or a conversation with that ability to overcome that struggle, and just kind of the conversation I'm having with myself about how to make myself a better person, a more creative and generative person, and a more confident person. And so that's yeah, causative thought, like how far does an idea go.
So, every song together forms a mega mantra.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
Okay.
the idea was like each song is almost like an affirmation. Like I got really, really into a lot of like early new thought authors, sort of, I don't want to say positive thinking, but like stuff that maybe later became positive thinking. And I got really, really into writing affirmations and practicing affirmations and saying them aloud and rewriting them and implementing these, conscious thoughts that soaked into my subconscious. And if I could control my own subconscious, how much can I control the outcomes of my life? And so, yeah, each song was kind of like a rooted in one of those, or was like a starting point for that, and so it became like a mega mantra, and that's where the title comes from.
So it's interesting because it's not a concept record, but
Right.
it's all those mantras, and that makes sense for the Mega
Yeah.
Mantra.
Yeah.
So let's
And I
talk
wanted I
about.
wanted to keep it loose, like it wasn't like I didn't have a song about confidence. I didn't have a song about like overcoming like one specific issue. They're all sort of like I don't really know how to write super direct. I mean, all the songs are direct to me, and I can go through each song and tell you what I was going through at each one of them and what I was thinking about and why they came out that way. But I don't, I don't write lyrically, at least in I'm not going to say a song is about a certain subject per se. I'd rather present the I don't know, present the mood of it and let people take away what they will, because that's usually the type of stuff that makes an impact on me, I guess.
Yeah. So let's talk about three songs that I think you had as singles. One is "Endless," which you have
Yeah.
a music video for. Tell us a little bit about the not the con, but like the mood of "Endless."
Yeah. Well, like Endless, it honestly was one of the first songs I wrote for the record. I wanted to write a really, really guitar heavy song. I feel like my last album, Body Prophecy, only had like one or two kind of guitar heavy, straightforward metal songs on it. And I really wanted to write like you know, like, I mean, there's synth in the song, but like kind of a no bullshit, just brutal metal song that was like a really good intro and set the mood for the album. Yeah. And so, I was really influenced by Godflesh on that song. I was really influenced by Crowbar, the band Crowbar, for that song. The bridge in that song is kind of like a rework of, I don't want to say it's a rework of a Crowbar idea, but Crowbar gave me the ideas for the riffs in that song, especially the bridge. And I just wanted to start the album off with a big like song and mantra of like confidence. And when I wrote that song, I just had the instrumental, and I instantly got like super excited about like the way the riffs were sounding, and I had it on drum machine first. And after I like demoed the song, I just said aloud to myself, I feel endless, like, because I was so hyped on writing it. And I was like, fuck, there it is, that's the song. So um yeah, I just kind of let that song guide itself, and it was just a brutal metal song.
Yeah, sometimes you need that, especially
Yeah, it's just
when
wanted to
you're.
write something really straightforward and something that was like, once I wrote this song, it gave me a lot of confidence and it made me feel endless. And so I said, I feel endless out loud. And I mean, I think I wrote that song in maybe 45 minutes. I mean, I kept perfecting it, I kept changing things, but like the initial idea was there. And so I kept on with the mood I felt from the riffs and from the musical composition about feeling endless and feeling self-confident and having a lot of strength. And I started thinking about like, I can't believe I was able to write this song this fast based on like the self-confidence I had. And then it got me thinking like, why haven't I had more of that confidence in the past? So I kind of wrote part of the lyrics as like as like an answer, like retaliation against myself. Like, why haven't you had this confidence? You wrote this song, like it was inside you all along. And if you were able to crank this out this fast, you deserve to give yourself that amount of confidence and that amount of like strength and patience. So it was kind of like a real therapeutic song for me. Yeah.
Awesome. And another song that's Better Than Love, which is another one of the singles that you have. Tell us a little bit about Better Than Love.
Yeah, that song is honestly probably my favorite song on the album. It's one I definitely worked, probably one of the longest and the hardest on. I wanted to do a song that I don't want to say has more of like a minimal approach, but had more like a slow build and a less I don't know, a less initial upfront in your face aggression, and kind of more of like a minimal approach where I wanted people to have something to latch on to on each part of the song to listen to. Yeah, that song started off like every song pretty much starts off with like a drum machine beat and a synthesizer and a guitar riff. So I had that song for a long, long time, and I really, it's funny because it sounds heavy on guitar when you listen to the album, but the demo versions of that song were very, very synth based, and when I wrote it, I had much more of like a synthesizer song in my mind for it, which I still think it comes off that way. But yeah, I started like trying to think of some of the key points of that song. It's very like it's very Nine Inch Nails influence, but I was listening to a lot of like hip hop and rap at the time, and I wanted to give it that type of groove and that type of like breathing room and almost like minimalism for it to build, and give it a lot of dynamic. And so that song, it probably has like 12 or 13 different synthesizers on it. So tons
Wow.
of different synthesizer sounds. We recorded it like almost with everything going at once, and then started like trying different passes with different synthesizers muted, different vocal passages muted, different drum sets muted, different live drums, different electronic drums, different kicks muted, different snares muted, trying all types of different stuff. So that song has a very like reductivist and minimal sort of technique and writing behind it. It was almost like a big puzzle. Like we had all the pieces that we wrote up to be all super, super big, and then we had all of it, and then you couldn't really hear the cool parts in it. So we started like taking this puzzle piece out and this puzzle piece out, and then combining a vocal with this synth, and then taking that vocal out, and then adding this synth and guitar. So it's a very multi-layered song. And our engineer Sanford Parker helped a lot with that song. So yeah, that's probably my favorite song on the record. It was the funnest to write, and I think it's kind of like a foreshadowing of how we're going to continue writing and going to have some more songs in that vein. Um, but lyrically, the song is kind of like about how um, there's feelings in life that kind of surpass whether it's pain or love or comfort or strength, and a lot of times those feelings overlap with each other, right? And so you feel one thing while you feel another, and it seems confusing, but it seems right. And sometimes those feelings are like unidentifiable and undefinable, and like you don't know how to explain the way that you feel, but they feel so right. And so that song is sort of a I don't want to call it like a revenge song, but a taking ownership over ways you have felt wronged, and feeling very validated and confident, and that feeling is sometimes better than the comfy loving feeling that we call love. And that there's nothing wrong with taking ownership over you know conquering a feeling or a hardship, or I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of aggression with your self confidence, and a little bit of, you know, I don't want to say lack of forgiveness, but lack of empathy towards those who have wronged you.
Yeah, so yeah, very interesting concepts. And the album, I don't think it's a very long record. I think it's like 40 minutes or something, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 30 maybe. It's
Yeah,
short. It's
yeah,
short.
it's a
Yeah.
short record.
I
Uh,
wish it was longer.
yeah, it's yeah, but aggressive at times, and also the sequencing. A lot of the songs flow into each other,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like a mega mantra. It's a huge
Right.
mega mantra. So the recording process. uh, it was different this time because you were with more people, so that was the difference for that. So now that the album's gonna be out this Friday, July the 25th, do you have once you get from vacation, are you doing some shows? What's next for Black Magnet?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I wish we were having an album release show. We don't have any shows in August, but in September, we're doing like a maybe like a week long tour, like through the Midwest. So we're playing a show with the band Wargasm from the UK, in Dallas on September 2nd, and they were doing 5 shows through the Midwest to go up to Indianapolis to play a festival called Heavy Hell, which Master, 6 Feet Under, and Thou are headlining. So we'll play that festival, and then like yeah, like 5 shows surrounding that, and that's kind of all we have planned right now. But hopefully we'll tour soon. Yeah, after that, so maybe in the winter.
Yeah, and I know for this record, I think the last two records were with 20 Bucks Pink, but this one's with another label, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the last 2 albums were on 20 Bucks Spin, and yeah, that's who basically kind of put the project on its feet. Like he signed me after doing the demo. Um, and yeah, I had a 2 album contract with him, and it was amazing, and he's awesome to work with. Um, and yeah, so Jesse Draxler did the artwork on that second album, and after my contract ran out with 20 Bucks Spin, he was like, "Well, do you want to do the record on my label, Federal Prisoner?" Because him and Greg Puchado own that label, so it was just like kind of a no-brainer. We didn't have a lot of other options at the time. We had some stuff on the table, but um, me and Jesse developed such a good working relationship, and it was uh, it was hard to say no to someone who was offering that level of like artwork and backing us up with such a good rebranding of the band type of thing. So yeah, we chose 20 or Federal Prisoner on that one, on this one.
I just listened Greg Puciato. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
me and the drummer of Black Magnet also play in his solo band.
yeah. I actually I read that and
Yeah,
I love his last solo record.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you play on that record, right?
Only on like two. Actually, I only play on the live record. So
Oh,
I'm not on his last record, but he did a live record after that, and that's the one I'm on. Yeah, yeah.
oh, that
But
that's cool.
but I toured with him maybe like 4 months last year, and I actually met Greg through Jesse Draxler. So it all kind of was like a full circle relationship, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Like you never know. Plus, this I never the record label sounds like at least like a cool. They're backing you with what your ambition of Black Magnet is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just like it was cool because it's just like a super like friendship deal, like and whenever I started becoming friends with Jesse, we were just like kind of internet friends, and he started coming to shows and we started hanging out, and then he introduced me to Greg, and now we're like all super tight, and it was just like a total like I guess genuine interest in the band, and like a real you know I don't know, supernatural just group of friends hanging out. I like your shit, you like my shit. Let's fucking work together type of thing. So super easy, no brainer. And like with those 2 guys, like how are you going to say no? I felt so honored to be a part of like their repertoire, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds like a no-brainer. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna post the link for people who want to pre-order the record
Yeah,
and
yeah,
want
yeah.
to get
It's on our Bandcamp. Yeah.
yeah on the Bandcamp and want to know more when the band is playing. So James, I know you're on vacation, so I don't want to keep go and have fun instead of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
chatting with me. Yeah. So before I let you go, James, anything you like to say to the fans before we go?
Yeah, record comes out on Friday. It's up for pre-order now. We got the test presses approved, so the records are literally on the way to me right now. So whenever I get home from vacation, they'll go get mailed out probably like next week. Um, Yeah, we have a week-long tour coming up. It's just like a Midwest tour in September. And if you want us to come play your city, email us. We'll come play it.
That,
That's kind of about
that
it. Yeah, yeah.
no brainer. Just email you.
Yeah,
So
just email us. We love
yeah,
fan interaction. Like that's like I feel like a lot of fans like think that there is a bigger buffer zone between management or booking agents or venues, and there's really not. So just hit us up all the time. We love to like work directly with fans, interviews. Thank you. You know, we love sharing everything that we're a part of with everyone. It makes everything that much better.
awesome, James. So yes, Couchers, if you like industrial metal, like hard industrial metal, like check out Black Magnet Mega Mantra out July the 25th.
Yep.
I'll try to see if I also can review the record maybe for early Monday.
Yeah.
But for now, check out Couchers. You pre-order and check out the interview and let us know what you think of the album once it's out. So, James, thank you for taking some time out of your vacation
Yeah. Thank you, Hector.
to chat with me. It's been a pleasure. So, until next time, Couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.